Good morning and welcome to day 16 of 21 Days of Spiritual Success. My name is Monica Reyes and I am a spiritual success coach, bringing you through 21 days of spiritual development, creating small shifts so you can make really big changes in your life. So yesterday we finished our fourth chakra journey, finishing off with the power of forgiveness. We talked about compassion and vulnerability. And today we're moving up into the upper triangle, the fifth chakra, which is our throat. And so the upper triangle, now that we've passed the fourth chakra, which is spiritual awakening, we're moving up into the upper consciousness chakras. The four elements below were fire, air, water, earth. And now we're moving into more of the sort of, this one, the throat is ether. So it's more of the intangible, ethereal chakras. So today is all about truth. It's about expressing ourselves. It's about expressing our truest self, our authentic self. And this is a very awesome, interesting chakra, but you have to, in order to fully express this one, you have to balance the first three, which is why, or the first four, which is why we're taking the journey through starting from the very bottom all the way up, because once those are balanced, you can then fully express and because you then know who you are, you can love who you are, and so it really is a journey. And once you're here, you can fully authentically express yourself and have that compassion, have that love, and be able to be vulnerable. The throat chakra is all about vulnerability. We can, if we hold our truth inside, we're allowing this to be held in here, and it's free from any potential blame or any potential criticism, and it's safe. But once you break through and you really allow yourself to express yourself and be vulnerable, this is the key here. And what's interesting is it's not just like I'm being honest, I'm speaking honestly, I'm speaking with integrity. There are a lot of automatic patterns and limiting beliefs that lie within this area. So for instance, any gossiping, any self-destructive talk, that is all throat chakra stuff. And because that is a lie. Whenever we say we're not enough, that's a lie, because we are enough. We're absolutely enough. When we say we can't do this, that's not the truth. We can absolutely do this. We are incredibly powerful creatures, beings, and we have this limitless, this infinite power within us. And so your body knows, your mind knows, parts of your mind know. You may not logically sometimes believe it, but that is the truth. And so the more we grasp and embrace that real truth, then we can be fully aligned with who we are and who we're meant to be. So this is all about expressing our will. Every moment in our life is a choice, and you can choose to express what, your will, what you want, and we are the masters of our destiny. We absolutely are, but it's embracing that power and believing it. That is the key here. So who are we really? So this is, one of the things about the throat chakra is really, and as you travel up, is getting to know who you really are. Are you really who we sometimes have these stories that we believe that we might have been carrying them. They no longer serve us. We might have carried them through our childhood, and they pop up randomly. You may or may not even notice. You may just be reacting, throwing your hands up like a 5-year-old, and you don't know why, which is why meditation is so important, because it allows you to be self-aware so that you can notice these. That's what self-awareness is about. It's all of a sudden popping up in the middle of the pattern and being like, oh my gosh, am I really doing this? Why am I feeling this way? Otherwise, we're just going around automatically, and then this is all kind of happening, and the next thing you know, you're manifesting a lost voice or some sort of hormonal problem or an abscess or, some things going on because you aren't fully able to express yourself, because what you're expressing is really not the truth. So looking into limitations, into limiting stories, really digging deep, and and are you really who you say you are? And I'm all about shooting from vision, and saying, yes, I'm a lover, I'm a giver, I'm honest, I live with integrity. But your actions have a lot to do with this as well. Are you fully showing up as that person? Are you really, really being honest? Or are you not? Are you fully giving, or are you taking in some way? So really analyzing that is super important, so that you can fully express your truest, because everything other than that is a miscommunication. When you show up as someone else, or you show up as, maybe somebody that no longer serves you, then that's who you attract. That's what people see. And so it really is a miscommunication. But, and this has everything to do with when you're trying to attract a lover, somebody that you want to be with. This is, or even when you're trying to raise a child, starting this journey of really digging deep and taking a look to see who really are you, and am I acting, am I, aligned with who I truly, truly, truly am, which is a divine, honest, and, person with integrity, with, that's showing love and compassion for others. Am I really showing up that way? And if not, why not? And how can I modify my behavior? How can I modify, and how can I correct myself? But you have to be self-aware. Other problems with this chakra are arising from self-expression, like I said, lying, gossiping, inability to express negative feelings, so the ability to communicate. An interesting problem with this chakra is also the inability to listen. So somebody that might, be waiting for you to finish speaking just because they want to speak, and sometimes this can be a defense mechanism, just not listening, not mindfully listening, not being able to wait, when it's their turn, or to be patient, and they're already thinking of the next thing to say. So that's a problem of the chakra. So we're going to do some exercises that's going to kind of help you with all of those different things. We're actually going to do a meditation as well. It's a powerful meditation, something you can do anytime, and along with I'll have all sorts of different exercises if meditation isn't your thing. I wanted to also tell you, there was a study, kinesiology. So there is this doctor who, it's basically what it is. It's a well-established science that allows you to take a look at the stimuli and in relation to muscle response. And so they do this a lot of, you'll see doctors that do this actually, where they'll have you hold a nutritional supplement, or or anything really, to see the muscle stimuli, the muscle response, and you'll see if it's something that doesn't mesh with you, then or if it's kind of potentially be harmful for you, you'll get weak. It'll actually weaken your muscle response. So I first learned about this when I went to a chiropractor in Orlando, and he was giving me supplements, and he had me hold my arms out, and he had me hold all these different types of brands of the same supplement, and then he would have me hold one hand out and then the other hand completely out, and then we'd push, and and you'd see my hand would fall, even though I was trying to hold it up. And then he was able to, when he found the right one, the one that would actually, help me, then my arm would stay strong. And so there was a study by a doctor called David Hawkins in relation to truth and false. And he, he did it with he's done it universally with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And what he found was the same way that, when he was able to do it with the nutritional supplement, the same thing happens with truth. So when you're lying, or when you're not acting within your truth, you actually lose energy. Your muscles get weak. So truth will actually make you stronger. I thought that was super interesting. I'm reading this book about it. It's called Power versus Force. All right, so moving on. So when a throat chakra is blocked, you'll experience fear of speaking out. You might have the fear of public speaking. Hello. You might be shy. This was all me, my goodness. And what's interesting is I wasn't living my truth either, at the time when I was super shy, which makes complete sense. I had a, big blockage. And now that I'm living my truth, and I'm, aligned in my own career and in my life, and I always catch myself, and it's all about, I move through life through feeling. It's my guide, it's my compass. Does this feel right? Am I feeling like this is right? Does this feel aligned with me, or does it feel weird? What does it feel like? And now I'm able to speak. I'm able to communicate. I'm able to get up in front of people. I'm able to have conversations and not be afraid, not be shy. And I'm also able to stand up for myself and say what I need, or what maybe I'm not feeling, or maybe I'm able to set boundaries, or maybe I'm able to say, this is no longer serving me. This is all throat chakra. So the ability to do this, when you're unable to do that, you might have some sort of blockage, or maybe it's imbalanced. When it's accessibly open, this is when I mentioned, when you're not listening, listening when you're talking way too much, and to the point where you're interrupting, and maybe you're even stuttering because you're trying so hard to get the words out, right? That's when it's excessively open. Either way, it's considered an imbalance, and every chakra that's imbalanced, it actually throws all the other ones off balance. So it's important to keep them all in balance through these exercises. Physical manifestations might be thyroidism, sore throat, loss of voice, throat abscesses, anything to do with throat, head colds, that is all throat chakra stuff. So looking at the physical manifestation, that's really important to look at. And then also if you're experiencing any of the other behavioral or other sorts of manifestations, going through and sort of, trying to learn how to balance them and just staying aware, and in your everyday daily life. And sometimes it gets very overwhelming if you find that you're imbalanced in several of these, but just focusing on one at a time, one thing at a time has really, really served me, whatever it is. And working on one fear, working on, I want to stop being shy. I want to just focus on being able to have one conversation, just one thing at a time. And you'll see it'll provide you with confidence. And once you can overcome that, it'll actually help you overcome everything else. But if we try to overcome everything at the same time, it's so overwhelming. You throw your hands up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This spiritual journey stuff is way too much. But just focus on one thing at a time. All right. So when you're fully balanced, you're able to express yourself without fear. You're able to say what's on your mind. You can be creative. You have an ability to listen patiently and mindfully. And you're able to, you can communicate clearly. All right, so some ways to unblock this. So crying is a really great way. Crying is actually a form of purification. So if you haven't had a good cry in a while, it might be a throat chakra thing. This is a way of expression and it's a way of vulnerability. So crying is super, super important. I'm talking to women and men. Crying is important. And I love crying. I used to see it as a form of weakness, of course, because I used to was that forceful, strong kind of person. Makes sense coming from my familial patterns. But now I enjoy it. And when I meditate, when I go to a sadhana or I, have a very strong meditation, I'm waiting for it because it is such a beautiful form of release and it really gets you in touch with your heart. You feel expansive. And I'm all about releasing, right? I'm all about facing this stuff because when you face it and you release it, you're growing, you're moving into the right direction. When we're not releasing, when we're not facing our limitations is when we're staying the same way and we're allowing our limitations to run our lives. It's all about, mastering our mind and just being the master of our body and a master of our fate and the captains of our destiny. Another great way is singing, humming, chanting, which is why I love mantras. This is throat chakra is a chakra of vibration. So when I first started Kundalini, it's all about mantra. It's all about chanting. And it was kind of embarrassing at first. I was like, oh, is anybody watching me? Chanting and, and just being open and singing. And, that's the way that Kundalini is. And now it's obviously totally different. I'm singing really loud and proud and totally expressing myself because really nobody cares. Nobody's there to judge. Everybody's there in their own thing. And it's actually more of a community and it's, global consciousness. We're moving each other forward. But if you go somewhere into a yoga class and you experience this feeling of this is a little weird and I'm feeling a little embarrassed, that's a throat chakra issue. So singing and getting past that is really, really a beautiful way to overcome this obstacle. So try, and even you can just sing in the shower, or just kind of get yourself out there and just try to, don't need, you don't have to sing in public, but karaoke is really great. In my retreats in British Virgin Islands, we did some karaoke and a lot of the women, got over some of the fears of being able to do this, which is really beautiful because it's getting in there and being able to fully express yourself and not caring who's there, but you end up seeing everybody's like, go, 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 and, if you've ever seen me karaoke, you'll see I go all in. I absolutely love it. All right, listening, mindful listening. We actually did this exercise yesterday, which I thought was pretty, coincidental that we're talking about this today. I went to this Holistic Chamber of Commerce event last night, and one of the exercises was mindful listening. It was really interesting, and I had felt this pattern pop up while I was there. Because what we did was we practiced speaking, the other person mindfully listened, and then basically spoke back what we said, the emotions that we said. And then we did an exercise where I would speak again, and then the person that at first mindfully listened, this time they pretended not to listen, and they did everything in their power to distract. So they were looking around and looking at their, cell phone, and, and it just brought up all these feelings of like, I just wanted to throw my arms up and say, who cares? Like, why am I even bothering? And it was a feeling that I felt, a very familiar feeling I'd felt, and I felt it pop up before, but it was because it was in such an isolated sort of, place, and this was all that we were doing, and it was an exercise, I was able to spot it, and it's an opportunity to look at these limitations, which is why I love these so much, because once you're able to create that space where instead of like, oh, I'm this person, or oh my God, here it comes again, or oh, I've done so much work, and here's another limiting belief, or why am I still limited? It's an opportunity to grow. So I was very thankful for that last night, because it was an opportunity for me to grow in that way. Speaking up, if you're holding something in and you haven't said it, say it. I used to be that person in the back of the room where, it would be a group of people, there's a speaker, and then they ask questions. I was like this in law school. I would, mutter it or just wouldn't even say anything because I was afraid that I would be rejected. But now I'm the first one up, because it's just, it just is. I value my own expression, and it's allowed me to be expressive in other ways in life, and it's just practice. So next time you're in a group and you feel like you want to say something, you want to ask, just say it, just ask it. If there's something you need to get off your chest to somebody, say it. Just, do the calm heart meditation, and open up your heart before you have this conversation, but just say what's on your mind. As long as you say it with love, and as long as you say it with, and you allow because anything can be healed, and anything can be really saved with communication. It just has to be open, and it has to be loving and with compassion. So those are really the key, but just speak up. Stand up for yourself, and you're going to feel so much better, and you're going to see like, oh my gosh, it's really not that bad. I'm going to continue to do it. Nix the self-destructive talk. Like I mentioned, self-destructive talk is very, very destructive. The throat is all about these vibrations, and if it's like a false vibration, it's a false word, a false statement that isn't aligned, you're hurting yourself every time. And you're not just hurting your mind, you're hurting your body, you're hurting your future, you're hurting everything, because we are energy, and those words are energy, and that energy is attracting other energy, and it's attracting all sorts of stuff, not just into our awareness and into our lives, but in our body as physical manifestations, and you are hurting yourself. So just like watch out for that language. I'm a hot mess. You're not a hot mess. Replace it with something else. What do you want to be? What is your intention? What would you like to be? What are you really? Are you really a hot mess? Probably not. You might have been at one point in time, but it probably no longer serves you. I'm always this, I'm always that, and just watch out for it. Watch out. It's probably something that popped up a long time ago, and we just carry it through. And then, it might have popped up, my goodness, when we were a child, and now we're reacting to life as a child, do you want a child to make your decisions? No, we don't. So take a look at the language. And this is why meditation is so important, again, because it brings you self-awareness. Sometimes we just become the language, but if we do meditation and just practice mindfulness, you can separate yourself, create space between you and the language, create space between you and this inner child, or this limiting pattern. That's the beautiful part of it. All of a sudden you become this observer. You're tapped into this, the neutral space where you are like this observer, and you can decide to not be. But if you don't allow yourself to have that space for choice, then you are the limitation. Some other great exercises are neck rolls. So just, neck roll, be very gentle, listen to your body, breathing into any tension that you might have. I would do 5 on the left, 5 on the right, breathing nice and slow all the way through. That's an exercise that'll work the throat chakra. Some affirmations you can do. I am heard. It's my nature to create. I am able to speak to others clearly and eloquently. I allow my essence to express itself in my life. So some affirmations, you can pick one of those, you can say them all, write them down. Well, you know, you can create your own. That's the beautiful part about it. And sometimes that's actually the best way. I love creating my own affirmations. I love creating my own mantras, and, you know, because it really becomes mine. It becomes my own. And, you know, and you can post them on Post-it notes. You can put it on your mirror. You can, you know, have it as a screensaver. You can create a graphic, whatever you want to do. You can post it on social media, and you'd be surprised, like, how many people you inspire. It's interesting, social media, what we post is really what we need to hear. So I learned that a while ago. So if you read any of my posts, it's what I need to hear in my, you know, for myself. And that's usually the case, because even our you know, it's whatever it is, it's again, it's a mirror. It's whatever we need to hear. It's our own lesson. But it's still a form of expression. I love using social media as a form of expression and a form of vulnerability. Because it's just beautiful that you're able to touch so many people you don't even know, you know, and to get messages like, wow, thank you, you inspired me, and somebody that I've never met in my life and I probably won't ever, but social media has allowed me to express myself in that way. All right. What's interesting also about the throat chakra, and this is the case for any of the chakras, is that we hold a lot of like past life karma in these chakras. The throat chakra has to do with grief, and if you can see if you're maybe crying for no reason, or you know, and it's like, I don't know why I'm crying, or I don't know why I feel a certain way, why I feel pain when I smell something or when I hear a song, or, you know, it might be locked up grief. My husband's mother, my mother-in-law, told me once a story where she went to see a healer, and she felt a lump in her throat, and she had dreams about something like this as well, but she was feeling this lump develop, and she's very spiritual. She knew most likely that it was something to do with the throat chakra, and what she found out was it was grief, and it was grief from all these different people that had died in her life, in her current life, that she never dealt with, she never mourned. She was a strong woman that just kept going and never really sat down to mourn, you know, her uncle, her cousin, you know, all those, and it was all locked up in here. So, which is why it's super important to deal with your feelings and to feel it. If you're feeling the way that you're feeling, just sit with it for a moment. Allow yourself to express it. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to release, and not rushing through those moments. But at the same time, it's also important to draw a line. Once you release, you know, giving yourself the time, the respect, and the ability to do this, because it is important. But at some point, you know, drawing the line and say, all right, I've let go, I've done it. Otherwise, it can definitely turn into depression and, you know, other sorts of, you can totally let yourself go in the emotion of everything. All right, so the meditation for today. All right, so this meditation is for throat chakra, and the mantra is going to be Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm. We did this one not too long ago, a few videos ago. I'm going to post it, comment it, put it on the comments. It means we are one. And so what we're doing here is we're going to do what's called a neck lock. Okay, so Kundalini has these locks, and what it does is it seals the energy. And so we're going to do what's called a neck lock. And the neck lock, I'm going to turn so you can see it. So the neck lock is just pulling your neck in, so it's super stiff, right? You're strong in your neck. You're pulling your chin in towards your collarbone, and you're holding it there. Your focus is on the tip of the nose, all right? So you're kind of cross-eyed. You're focusing on the tip of the nose. You will feel a little bit of a painful sensation just for a few seconds. It'll go away. Super powerful gaze, and the breath will come automatically. And we're going to have our hands in Gyan Mudra, right? Just right on our lap. And we're going to chant it, but we're not going to chant it with the tip of our tongue. We're actually going to use the root of our tongue, okay? And you'll feel the difference. Like, you normally talk with the tip of your tongue touching your palate, but we're not going to use that. So it's going to go Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm, Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm, Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm. And you can feel the pressure on your throat when you do that. Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm, Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm. Okay, so we're like this. Tip of the nose, neck lock, Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm, Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm, Humee, Humm, Brahm, Humm. I'll post some music as well that you can sing along or chant along with it. But this is specifically for the throat chakra. It'll allow you, you may have a release even, you may cry, you may have a release, some sort of powerful release. And releases come in all different forms. I just recently had one, just doing this, practicing this mindfulness technique, and that I'll be showing you August 11th if you come, if you're in South Florida, with the Women's Chamber of Commerce. Anyway, so I was doing this and I felt the release. At first, what we do is you feel where the energy is. So if you've got a blockage, you're going to feel it here, right? This heat, or the, just something here. You might, if you're aware enough, you might be able to feel it. For me, it was actually in my chest, and I felt it bubble up, and it felt like chills, chills up my spine, so these releases can come in all different ways, but this might be some locked up emotion. So let me know how it goes, and I'm excited to hear about it. If you've, felt anything, I'd love to hear about it. If you have any more questions about the throat chakra, or any other, maybe even suggestions, what have you done? Did you have an issue in this area? How did you get over it? Was it a fear of speaking? Was it a fear of communicating? I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear you share if this video inspired you, or if there's somebody that might need it, if you think, wow, I think that she might have a blockage in the throat chakra because she's experiencing these sort of symptoms. Share it with them, share it on your social media. I'd really appreciate it. And that's it for me today. So thank you so much. And we will continue our journey tomorrow, most likely to the next chakra, which is going to be in here. So we're going to travel into the 6th chakra, and we'll probably start our journey into intuition. So you don't want to miss that one. So I'll see you tomorrow at 10:30. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Sat Nam.